Alright guys, this one is kind of a repost. I've taken down an old video by the time you'll see this, so if this looks familiar, it's because it's kind of a repost, but with an update. So I posted a video about the map sensor, and I apparently made a mistake in that video, as a viewer was nice enough to point out. We've been having issues with this thing. I mean, we've got misfires again. I've been dealing with misfires with this thing for like the 5 years ever since we got it, and I get it fixed and then something else causes it to misfire, then we'll fix that and then something else causes it to misfire. Had it running good for a while, but it started running worse than it has ever ran in its life. Real bad extreme misfires to where the car is like kicking and bucking back and forth trying to accelerate, and it was just real random. Sometimes it would do it, sometimes it wouldn't. And then also it would die a lot. As you would pull up to a stop sign or a light or whatever, it would just shut off on you, and a lot of times when you try to start it back up, it would just die again unless you held the gas. And you know, symptoms of a bad map sensor, just follow that to a T and more. We did have a alternator that was failing. It was on its way out. Since replaced that to eliminate that. There was a video on that. But I made a mistake with this map sensor, as I said. Now, if you guys are replacing your map sensor, there should be a link in the description for a good Subaru OEM replacement. This is one area you do not want to cheap out on. I'll go over that in a second, but it's been my experience over the years, especially on the electronics, you definitely do not want to cheap out on those. And I don't even go with anything anymore other than the OEM factory part that came with it from the factory, which in this case, it is an actual Subaru branded part. Freaking alternator was the same. Ungodly expensive. We ended up going with the remanufactured refurbished, and it's still like $300 or $400. Anyway, oh, sorry. I lied to you there a little bit, didn't mean to. Against my recommendation, the owner went with a cheapie, so we'll see how long that one lasts. I've been through that many times before. Buy the cheap ones, they don't even last a year. But it's real easy to do because the factory one's so freaking expensive, but I don't anticipate that one lasting long. But for now, she's good. And they did the same thing with the sensor here, so that's why we have 3 sensors here. They bought a cheapie, and immediately the car ran even worse. Even though I told them, don't buy a cheap sensor, we need to get the good Subaru one. So, you know, that's something you definitely don't want to do. I absolutely recommend going with the Subaru OEM map sensor, which is what we're finally doing here today. I don't even think there's a decent good brand like Bosch or Denso or anything like that. It's either cheap Chinese crap or the actual Subaru one. So the one linked in the description is the actual high-end expensive Subaru part, which we finally have here. So here's the mistake I made. We got the junk one in here that doesn't work now. So in that video, I was going over cleaning this, and you can see that diode that's exposed there. Apparently, that is not supposed to be exposed. There's supposed to be like a little silicone cover or something over that. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect performance, whether it's on there or not, but the fact that it's supposed to be there and it's not, I'm going to assume that it's probably not working optimally. But the weird thing is, so it was there, but I saw like the copper shining through, and I assumed it was just gunk built up around that. It was like a black oval, which you can see on the brand new part. If I can get a focus, it looks exactly the same, only it wasn't all shiny, it was all dirty and whatnot. And I saw copper through it. There was like a chunk missing, and I could see the copper. And I was like, oh, that's a bunch of gunk that is piled up on there. So I very carefully, many times, sprayed it in with a toothpick, and it came off real easy. Picked all that stuff off, but apparently I wasn't supposed to. So it needed replaced anyways, because that silicone stuff, or whatever it is, was already coming off of our sensor there. And sometimes these can just fail too, just with age and mileage, because there's a little diaphragm up in here that flexes depending on the pressure in your intake, and that's how it reads the pressure. So over time, you know, those can break, or they don't flex like they're supposed to anymore, so they give the ECU a bad read. But that was the mistake I made. I picked that off because I thought it was just dirt, and because it came off extremely easily. The odd thing is, it ran so much better after I did that for like a week or two, and then it went right back to the same old crap. Now, we're having other issues with this car. I'm pretty sure we're having, and because I'm getting codes for it, and I may have found a thing or two, which that'll be a video coming up in the future when we eventually figure that out, unless this makes the car run perfect now. I'm having an issue, I believe, with the CAN bus network on this, so this is probably still not going to solve our problem 100%, but it should make the car run way better, because I think we definitely had issues going on with the map sensor, and then, like I said, I picked that stuff off. We got the new one, good new one, so I'm going to get this junk one out of here, get the new one installed. I'm going to disconnect the battery first and hit the brake pedal and whatnot to drain any parasitic electricity, whatever you call it, that would still be in the system. Leave it disconnected for, I don't know, 20-30 minutes while I put that new one in, and then hook her back up. That way it'll clear all the codes and all that from it running with that junky one, and it's basically starting over fresh with the new one, and we'll see how she runs. So I got my battery unplugged there, and I mean, it's pretty simple. I don't think I really need to walk you guys through it, but you unclip your connector there, take your one bolt out, and then you just kind of wiggle it out. And you want to be extremely careful, especially if you're just cleaning yours. You know, don't get it dirty, don't smudge it with anything, don't drop it. And if you just dropping it could literally, dropping my sunglasses here, could literally cause it to fail. And so, if you want to try to clean it, you'll just pull her out like such, and then you just spray the crap out of it a few times with mass airflow sensor cleaner. That is what you have to use, and I will put a link in the description to that as well, to the proper product for doing that. And yeah, there's that cheap one. You can see it's not even designed the same. So obviously try cleaning it first with the mass airflow sensor cleaner. I got it linked in the description. And again, the new good Subaru OEM. Again, real careful going in, making sure not to get it dirty or anything. That little pop was the rubber gasket snapping down in. Everything's linked in the description, so let me, that's interesting. Doesn't want to snap back over. Give me a second here. There we go, got her on there. Just had to push back on that tab lightly, and then it snapped right over, so. But I'm going to give her a few more minutes with the battery disconnected, then reconnect the battery, make sure all our power drained and everything reset there, and we'll fire her up. But again, I'm expecting this to help the car run a lot better, but I think we still have other issues going on with the CAN bus network, but we'll see. I will at least be able to report back, and will put it in this video after driving it for a few weeks, whether or not that solved the, you know, dying at the stoplight issue and the extreme bucking back and forth, no power, random misfire issue we're having too. So stay tuned. I'll let you know how that goes. Now, obviously the issues I was having was while driving. However, that junk one I put in here made this thing just idle like crap. I'm trying to get this to focus. I should have recorded the startup. It was running like crap again, but after a few seconds it cleared up. So that could just be all the nasty crap in the cylinders from that junk sensor. You know, it was running like trash, so it probably had fuel and carbon and all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, I seen black come out of the exhaust when I first started it, but it cleared up after a few seconds. So I'm letting her warm up here and idle down and all that, and then hopefully it keeps running smooth like it is here, and then we'll take her for a spin. So far seems to be all right. I still have a top end misfire. If I like floor it through 1, 2, 3, usually I start misfiring about the top of 3. I mean a light misfire. Or if I do like a long pull and fourth, it'll run full power for a few seconds and then start misfiring. But I mean, that was the same old crap we were dealing with before this whole dying at stoplights and stop signs and the extreme kicking and bucking and no power intermittently. So it's not doing that anymore currently. When I first pulled out of the driveway, that very first turn, not even an eighth of a mile down the road, pushed in the clutch to downshift, she died on me. But I've been driving around for 20-some minutes now. And other than that light misfire on top end that I've been dealing with for a few months, before all that real nasty stuff started. Seems to be fine. It was previously hard to get going. Like, as soon as you would start to engage the clutch, it was kind of like fighting back and forth between having power and not having power. So it was real hard not to stall it, or if you didn't stall it, your revs would just be like trying to get going. It's not doing any of that currently, so it's very smooth pulling off like it should be. It's been 20 some minutes driving around since it's died. I'll go ahead and push in the clutch here, and before that would cause it to die, as you can see, it's not dying. But previously, like I said, when I sprayed and picked that thing clean, let me grab a gear here. Right there, started doing a little top end misfire stuff again right before I let off there, but nothing drastic. So back to square one on that. But it wasn't even drivable before, because it would keep dying every time you pull up to the stop sign, stop light, and you try to restart it, and it was real rough to restart. Didn't want to restart, and it would run like crap or die again. You'd have to try a few times and hold revs so it wouldn't die out on you. It was just real bad. So currently no more than that, no more of that rather. So like I said, I didn't think this would solve all our issues, but it has, at least for the moment, solved the whole dying and having the absolute backfiring and black crap coming out the exhaust and kicking and bucking real bad. And we couldn't even climb a hill with the freaking thing. We're like downshifting multiple gears when it would act up real bad just to get up the hill, because it wouldn't go. But we're gonna drive it for a few weeks and see if it maintains that and stays that way, and then we'll know that that definitely fixed a bad map sensor that we had, the original one. Like I said, it was doing all that stuff before I picked at it, so I think it was already bad, failing on its way out, whatever you want to call it. Let me do another full throttle rip here. Clutch is in, it's not dying. Popper in second. Pretty much full power there. Professional driver, close course, do not try at home. But yeah, usually by the time I'd get the fourth, which I did not get the fourth there, I'd hit it in fourth for a few seconds and it'll start that light misfire crap again. But again, that's got to be something else going on. So yeah, all is well so far, other than that top end light misfire that happens sometimes, like I said. So still got to figure that out, and I'll still got to keep monitoring this thing to see if we have any more of those CAN bus codes come up and some of the other weird stuff we were getting. I think I may have went over that, but we'll drive it around for a few weeks and then I'll update you, and that's going to be in this video right here. So we'll fade to black, and when I come back it'll be a few weeks later in this video, and I'll let you know what happened. We're looking for whether or not anything changed, or if it went back to the stalling and the extreme kicking and bucking and misfiring and whatnot. So 1 second here and I'll let you know. It'll be a few weeks in the future. Nope. Literally 2 days later, back to stalling, dying when you come to a stop. Pretty bad misfire still. What's crazy is when I picked off the silicone and cleaned off that original map sensor, as I said, I should not have picked off the silicone. I did not know that I was doing such. It ran good for like 2 or 3 weeks. This time it's got a brand new Subaru OEM map sensor in it. It ran fine for 2 days and then back to the same old crap. So unfortunately that did not fix the issue for me. If you're new to this video, this channel, we've previously replaced the spark plugs, the coil packs, brand new oxygen sensors. So you know, I cleaned the mass airflow sensor, but as I said earlier, I'm still getting some weird codes, including a code for the CAN bus. So I really think that's the issue. I think that's why it's so intermittent, and probably why it doesn't throw a code half the time for CAN bus, or not even half the time, like rarely. Because I think it's an intermittent issue somewhere with the CAN bus, with the communication network in the car. So At this point, it's going to have to go back to the tuner or Subaru or something like that so they can plug in their stuff that I don't have and figure out what the heck's going on with it. But if you have similar issues, it could definitely be the map sensor, and unfortunately in our scenario, it is not.